So what's this map function and how does it work? We'll explore it through an example. Let's say we have a knob reading. We know that knob readings can be between 0 and 1023. Let's say that the knob reading we have now is 512, which is halfway between 0 and 1023. In the burglar alarm project, we learned that we can convert a value to a bool using a threshold and an expression. But what if we want to convert our knob reading to a number that's between 1 and 10, or 1 and 10,000? Well, that's where the map function comes in. The map function takes a value from a starting range and maps it into another range of values. We could tell the map function to take our knob reading, 512, from the starting range 0 to 1023 and map it into the new ending range 0 to 10. But what number will map give us back? Let's try it out in code and see. The map function takes 5 inputs, but I like to think of them as 3 inputs. First comes the value that you're going to map, in our case 512. Next, you give it the range of values for your starting number. In our case, we know that the starting number is between 0 and 1023. Last comes the range of possible values for the ending number, or the number that map is going to return. We want to get a number back that's between 0 and 10. I like to think of these as 3 inputs. First, there's the starting value. Then there's the starting range, which has the lowest number and the highest number in that range. And then there's the ending range, which is another pair of values. I often use the serial connection to help me understand what's going on in my code. Let's put this map function inside the serial println function, upload it, and see what it returns. Map is giving us the value 5. That's because the input, 512, is halfway between 0 and 1023, which was the starting range. So map gives us a value that's halfway between 0 and 10, halfway through the ending range. That's 5. Okay, now instead of using 512 as the input, let's use the knob reading. And instead of mapping to the range 0 to 10, let's map to the range 0 to 100 instead. I'm also going to add some extra serial printing code beforehand to print the knob reading without mapping it, and then a comma. I'm using a combination of print and println functions to print everything on one line. This way we can compare the two values. Upload this code and then open the serial plotter. Oops, I forgot a semicolon. Let's try that again. Now we've got two things being plotted at the same time. The plot is showing us both the mapped knob reading and the normal knob reading. We'll explore how this works in a minute. For now, let's take a look at the plot. If I change the position of the knob, both values change. The knob reading, which is in blue, ranges from 0 to 1023, just like we expected. And the mapped value stays between 0 and 100. It looks like the map function is working just how we want. Let's close the serial plotter and open the serial monitor. Here, we can see exactly what Arduino is printing. It's printing 2 values on each line, and they have a comma between them. The first one is the normal knob reading, and the second one is the mapped knob reading. Anytime you write code that tells Arduino to print more than one value on the same line, separated by commas, the serial plotter will plot all the values. So how many values can the plotter plot? I wasn't sure, and I couldn't find reference documents online that had this info, so I did a little experiment. I told Arduino to print 50 different values to the serial connection, and opened the serial plotter. The plot shows all 50 values. It does only have 8 colors though, so it's probably a good idea to only plot 8 values if you want to be able to tell them apart using color.